Hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and this is my beautiful assistant today, Avila, who's going to be joining us today. And today on Rock Metal Podcast, we have Sentinels. They have a new album called Collapse by Design, released on October 22nd via Sharp Tone Records. Right now I'm being joined by Chris to share some more information about this stellar release. I'm told, Chris, that you're the guitar player?
Yeah, I am. Thank you for having me, by the way.
Yes. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem at all, man. Yeah, I play guitar. I write the music as well. Literally one of the originals too. So definitely you've seen this band for a while.
Okay.
See this band grow into what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, so many questions that we could chat about just based off of that is an original member grown into what it is. I know that's kind of a long, lengthy question. But
kind of broad.
But take us through that. What is that like to watch something that you started probably as just a, hey, let's jam on the weekend kind of thing, to now you're chatting with somebody in Canada about your experiences with Tim Hortons?
It's crazy to put it in that perspective, but yeah, I mean, we were like 15, 16 when we first started, back in 2012. We just wrote like an EP because our drummer at the time had this like weird practice space in like the back of a business. So we were just like, he gave it to his drummer just whenever he wanted to on the weekends. So he was like, hey, if you guys want on the weekends, I have like a free practice space. We can jam there for like literally 13, 14 hours if you wanted to. So that flourished into us actually writing what we had called Idols out back in 2013. But we wrote an EP that was very like, it was like Tony Danza-y, very structures, kind of all over the place, like reflections, old stuff. Very hectic kind of stuff that you imagine like a 16, 17-year-old would write, just like because it sounds cool. Yeah. So that was done. That was finished and put out in 2013. And put something out in like 2016. We were like we went through some member changes and we were still like, very excited about the band, but it was kind of just like, it was like plateaued. We feel like we peaked with our first record and then we kind of were just feeling it out and kind of taking it album by album. Writing processes started to change too. Like we went from writing as a band to writing in like Tablet, Tux Guitar, like Guitar Pro, like the MIDI, Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then after that, oh yeah, and a bunch of just like number smashing, just to like be like, oh, this sounds cool, this is cool, like no thought, really, kind of like just mindless. Yeah. And
if I put it on the real sound engine, it sounds so cool.
Yeah, exactly. But this is so hard. But hear me play it back. It's so sick.
Yeah.
So that was the writing process for a little bit. I guess she likes more of a natural feel. She probably likes recording straight into the DI. That's why she's crying right now.
Yeah, she likes live off the floor, so that's all she wants to hear right now is you got the gobos set up, you guys got the cans on, you're ready to go. Yeah. The drummer's got the tape around the headphones because he's so crazy. You're like, you go up to the 5150, you're like, no, a little bit that way. Yeah. Perfect. We got it, guys.
Yeah, she loves Terror, dude. She loves Kubla Khan. She loves all that. But yeah, that was in like 2016, and then in 2019, we really got I got my own recording software like Logic through a Mac, and I was able to just go direct in through an interface and just flesh out ideas that way. Yeah. So that was more of like a natural approach back in 2018. And then we put out our EP, Unsigned Recollections, and then this new one, Collapse by Design, was like only Logic Pro. Like I didn't touch Guitar Pro at all. There was no riffs that were from old songs in Guitar Pro that we brought to it. It was just new ideas fleshed out in that way of more of just playing and then seeing how it comes out. So it was more of like a trial error kind of situation when it comes to writing. But when also to touch on like how much we've learned and grown since the beginning is that obviously our music tastes have changed. Members coming in and out, different music tastes and perspectives. Like I've loved all those bands back then, like Tony Danza, Structures, and I still do. I still love all of them. They're very close to my heart for like bands because they've inspired me to be in a band. But now, I've been more into like experimental indie stuff, like Whir, Japanese House, Daughter, stuff that really I think hones in on ambience and more of like an atmospheric texture to it. But then obviously we still have the new wave of stuff like like Viljarda, Humanity's Last Breath. And all the obvious metal inspirations like Meshuggah too, Deftones. So I feel like us just growing up and reaching and going in different kind of sectors of music has really shown how we can like really change up, I guess, what we're playing. Especially like specifically, I think it was Contortionist Language, that EP or that album.
Yeah.
That completely changed the way I looked at music, because Contortionist before that album was just heavy tech riffs with like some synth patterns and whatnot. And then when Language came out, it was just night and day. And it was just a very cool take on, I guess, what a band can achieve within their genre. And I feel like it definitely changed the perspective on music for me, when it's just like, all right, if you're so in this box of music of being able to play just prog and heavy music and whatnot, and then putting an album out like that where you're kind of just saying, it's what we want to do. And if we like it, that it's kind of just like, I don't know, not... they're putting it out for themselves as opposed to them trying to please people. And I thought that the way they went about it was really, really cool. So I think that album in itself really spoke to how our music has changed within the last few years, of just being able to go outside the box and really just honing in on what you want to do within music and not what everyone else wants you to do.
Yeah. Baby.
Oh, yeah. Obviously keeping the rock in there.
You've got to. It's coming out in Rocktober. I mean, you got to keep the rock.
It's Rocktober, exactly.
Yeah,
it's just all about the rock.
Yeah, it's our favorite month here at the Rock Metal Podcast is Rocktober.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, this is the podcast.
Yeah.
If only it was Rocktober right now, I think my phone would explode.
It probably would.
Yeah, right.
I know. Yeah. So everybody watching right now, it probably is Rocktober, but at time of recording, it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it is the lesser month, September. Actually, one of my favorite months is September, because I like early autumn, late summer, early autumn. I just like when it's like still warm out, but the sun's not beating you down and making you wish that you were dead. That's me.
That's agreed. We're on the same page. Hoodie weather is the best. I mean, like right now we're coming from super hot August. Over here we had like a heat wave like a few weeks ago that was like 100 degrees plus humidity. And now leaving for tour, we're in Ohio right now, and it's beautiful. It's like 70 degrees, 72 degrees. I'm just content right now. Hoping that the rest of the tour goes like this too, as far as weather.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now you mentioned a word I haven't heard in a very long time, a 4-letter word, tour. So
I know, right? It's an ancient word.
It is. Take us through this ancient ritual that humans used to do. What's happening on the tour? Where are you guys going? How is it going? Are you being met with any resistance of any kind? Like you get somewhere and the venue's like, nope, can't do it? Or...
So it's been interesting. We actually haven't started the tour yet. Today's the first day. So we drove out to Ohio yesterday, found a Planet Fitness to sleep in. And today's the first day in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
But we had 2 shows in the middle of August with Lorna Shore for their EP release, like string of shows. And there weren't any problems with that. Like there weren't any capacity cut downs. If anything, one of the venues actually got upgraded to a bigger room.
Okay.
So no restrictions with that really, which is good. That was like a big worry of if, we're playing to half the capacity of a venue. But nothing like that for this tour. The only thing that is new is that for, I think, a handful of dates on this tour, they're requiring a vaccination card to step in the venue. So I think that I don't mind. Obviously, we're all vaccinated. We're all taking the precautions to make sure that this can happen. And same with all the other bands like Lorna Shore, Enterprise Earth, and Crown Magnetar. They're all vaccinated and trying to stay safe. Because especially when you're around that many people a day, like all these random people too, it's just better to play it safe.
Yep.
But that's the only real
I completely agree.
What were you say? You completely agree? Yeah.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we want to get back to the normalcy of things, I think we should just keep going this route, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed to have worked for us for about the last 100, 150 years. So,
yeah.
You
think, yeah, just you think it wouldn't be a problem, but I guess there is.
I don't know. It's the inertia of things, Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. Very interesting time we're living in right now.
And I just had Austin on actually, so I know.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I know where he stands on all that jazz or metal, whatever how you want to call it, and
or rock,
rock. Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys are pretty rocking, doing the stadium thing. So
doing all the arenas every day,
Yeah.
Keeping it casual,
Yeah, exactly. Getting the fist pump up there. Yeah, boom.
Exactly.
Made sure to get the snare right so that it hits the back of the wall at the stadium correctly.
Oh yeah, gotta get that room right.
Yeah. So tell Austin I say hi.
Yeah, I definitely will. It's funny that you say that he was on the other day. We're gonna see him in like a few hours.
Cool. Yeah. Killer dude. I dug him.
Yeah, one of the best, nicest dudes I've ever met. Such a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We talked a lot about how he's able to play so fast, and he mentioned, I think it was Death Wish coffee or something.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Coffee helps with that. Definitely, the more jacked up you are on it, the easier it comes.
Exactly. Now, we chatted about... Hi, sweetie. Mwah. Speaking of coffee, Tim Hortons coffee. We chatted about that quite a bit. So you had a Tim Hortons experience. So
Honestly, it's the closest thing I've had to Canada the past 2 years, so I'm all for it.
Sweet. Yeah. It is iconic. So, yeah, all Canadians listening in right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You grew up with Tim Hortons. It is an institution. You went there. Whenever you had a hockey game, you had a coffee. It's just a thing. And then, I don't know, some things have changed over the years.
It's more than coffee.
Yeah, more than coffee. Well, then we all know that if you want Tim Hortons coffee, you now have to go to McDonald's because they have the contract, and it gets complicated, Chris.
I know that there was that case that happened like 10 plus years ago of the McDonald's coffee where it was piping hot, and this woman, she like grabbed it and it fell. She was like a 90-year-old woman, and it just fell all on top of her, and she sued McDonald's because they didn't let her know that there was a warning that it was hot or anything. So I know McDonald's got some deep water with their coffee.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. It was in a drive-thru, and she spilled it on her lap, and she had some degree of burn, so she sued them, and now they have to put a warning on it that it's hot.
You'd think that people would just assume that it's hot, but I guess you never know nowadays. Sometimes
it's a hope. Sometimes it's I don't know, an expectation. I don't know. Yeah. That your coffee's hot. I don't know. An assumption, a hope. Who knows? Some people just want to wither away. You know.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Some people are just
here. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, they're just here to collapse by design, Chris. That's all they're here for.
I was trying to see if it was just you dropping things in the sentences or it was just your actual vocabulary.
It's just a little bit of both, Chris. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's working. I noticed the Inertia one before. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. It works. It's great in context.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and then earlier we chatted about Starbucks tastes burnt. It's because they over roast the crap out of the beans. They do it on purpose.
They do. Yeah, I love it because it makes me feel something with coffee, and it's not just like water, like I said.
Yeah, that's true. Other brands are just doing water. I just want somebody to do it right. You know?
I know, right? There was one when we played at this old venue called Vaudeville Muse, and it was in Des Moines, Iowa, and it had this amazing coffee spot right next to it, and that was the only, I think, standout coffee spot that we hit on tour.
Yeah, see, she's even excited about it.
Yeah, right? I was going to say.
Yeah, she's even excited about it. I'm trying to find another one that I could use, but, I mean, I think my sense of humor is a little obsolete at the moment in my solitude. So,
oh, dude. Just dropping them.
I know. It would have been a desecration.
Oh, are you just, like, looking at the track list right now?
I am.
You're just dropping words in it?
I am. There's comfort in familiar pain, Chris.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude. This is too good, dude. This is amazing.
Speaking of amazing.
Because you beat me to all the ones that I'm thinking of. I can't really put Atlas into context right now.
No. Or Albatross. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with Albatross.
Oh, Albatross is a bird. I just realized that recently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Really long wingspan.
Yeah, huge wingspan. Apparently it's like a 6-foot wingspan.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Where are you going to go with all that wingspan? You just got to look at the bird and say, where are you going with that wingspan? Going places.
So, yeah, I guess, I'm acting like an albatross.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the context that I'm using.
There we go. Beautiful. Speaking of amazing things.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we could have chatted about Guitar Pro 5 versus Guitar Pro 7. We won't chat about Guitar Pro 6. Yeah. I remember you saying, you used Guitar Pro before, and now you're not using it. I think it's because you had 5, which was awesome, and 7 is kind of like,
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't even touch Guitar Pro up until like a couple years ago. I think I mainly use this thing called Tux Guitar, which is like a free version of Guitar Pro, basically.
Okay. All the cheapos out in the audience right now, and the cheap seats are getting excited.
I was gonna say, if you need a cheap way to write for free, that is it's like a copy paste for Guitar Pro. Like it's almost the exact same thing. There was like a Tux guitar for Mac, and then Tabit for Windows.
Ooh. Oh.
So everyone who's looking to get some free writing in, there you go. I better get a plug. You better get some kind of Tabit endorsement from this, or Tux guitar endorsement.
Exactly. Yeah, right here on the Rock Metal Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Put it on my epitaph.
Oh, dude! See that one? It was Epitaph and Atlas. I was trying to think of before to put in the context, and you got all the good ones, dude. You got all of the good ones.
Well, it's in the embers of whatever's left of my life.
God. Oh my god! It's just like the isolation.
Yeah.
Of everything, you know. Yeah. It's the isolation.
I know
that counts. That's like half. That's half a song.
Yeah, when you're alone on an Atlas and you're isolated. Can you do that? Can you be on an Atlas? I got to look up the definition of an Atlas because it's a map, right?
Honestly, it just sounded cool, so that's what. That's the main thing. And what's the other one?
A book like of maps or charts. That's what an Atlas is. Yeah, a book of maps or charts.
Interesting.
Or the occipital bone of the skull. So that's another cool thing. At the very top of your spine is one more bone, right here at the base of the skull. And that's called called the atlas, and the head swivels on that final bone. So any chiropractors or doctors or anything like that out there, you're just like, woo, he hit the atlas bone. Yeah, I did.
I was going to say, I recently started to go to a chiropractor, so I'm going to bring it up next time.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, can you crack my atlas for me really quick?
Yeah.
Is that all good?
Is it good? Is it good? Can you do that? Actually, my wife...
Check it.
My wife got into a car accident several years ago, and she actually had the atlas bone moved, so they had to do some stuff to get the.
Ooh. Yeah. Hope she's all right.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's turned into a human barometer. Otherwise, so when she starts creaking around the house and you starts making funny noises, I'm like, yes, the season is changing. She's like, there's a storm coming.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I know. Who knew that when you get hurt, you turn into, like, I don't know, a more viable source of information.
Yeah, right? I was going to say, but I should just meet new people that are just always in pain or always hurting.
Maybe you should. Now, speaking of pain and things that are awesome, Collapse by Design, you said that you wrote the music, you're the guitar player. So I've got all the questions about everything from what is this record about? Is there a theme? What went into writing it? Tell us about your guitar tone. Tell us about your pickups. I mean, whatever we have time for.
So I got the Barenuckle Blackhawk pickups. And they're hot. They're like physically like a hot pickup. Like when you plug it in and the volume's already cranked from how it seems. Like it's way easier to clip, but they sound huge. I love them. Yeah. But we recorded the album with, I believe, Sentient and Nazgul pickups, which I think is DiMarzio or Seymour Duncan. I'm not too familiar.
Okay.
No one quote me on that. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Why is that? You didn't want to record with the Bare Knuckles, or they weren't there, or because I'm looking at one of the credits on the album. Did Randy just look at you and say no, and you went, okay, you're Randy?
I got the guitar after we finished recording the album. So It was more of, they had it in studio already, and it was the same guitar I have. It was like an Ibanez RGD Prestige. So basically the same one I have now, different pickups. But yeah, no, Randy said that guitar is his, his go-to for this type of music. So I trust Randy with my life. So if he says that that's the guitar, then that's the guitar.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, obviously it works. It sounds good. I get it.
He got that chunk. He got that tone going.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as writing it was like over the course of a year and a half, we started to tour heavily. So that was like a factor in my life writing it, is that I was in school for a while and then took a leave of absence to tour. So definitely in a different part of my life while writing it. So it was a little interesting and then like I said too, it was the first time writing completely in Logic. So it was like definitely a interesting change of pace when it came to writing it. And then, like I said, all of our influences have changed over the years. So I think whatever we were listening to the years prior to it, I think definitely had a huge impact on how the ambience came out on this one. All of the ambient textures to it and layers. I think that stuff is very present, I would say, in the writing. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to like dive in, because we've always had ambience, but it was cool this time to dive into just like layers and layers and layers of ambience just to mess around with. And then being with COVID, we were able to just sit in the studio for an extra month or two, just focusing on the ambience. And then, I don't know, listening back to the stems, because we just got the stems recently of the album. And it's just like the individual guitars, leads, bass, drums. And it was insane to hear everything back, all the ambience and whatnot. Because just recording it with Randy too, it was such a blast. It was such a good time with recording it with Randy.
Yeah.
I feel like he just gets it.
That's what I hear. I'm sure he does. That's what I hear.
Yeah. Working with Will like that, close side, I think he's just a genius. And his own knowledge too, of like Berkeley and working with his own bands and music he listens to. I think he has a very interesting approach to music that I don't think many people have as far as a producer goes.
Very true. Very true. Speaking of label mates, I just chatted with Dying Wish out of Portland. And
oh, nice. Yeah, they're label mates.
Yeah, they worked with Randy as well.
Yes, they do. Yeah, no, Randy's just the guy.
Yeah.
He nails it. Every band that goes to him with a vision, he's just, okay, cool, and then makes it that much better. He makes it 30 times better, 40 times better. It's insane the work he does on bands.
Something you mentioned was you came to him with a vision, and I know producers work in different ways. Sometimes, like if they're a Mutt Lange, you're just gonna be taken on a Mutt Lange ride, or if you're like a Bob Rock, it's like, what do you want to do, and I will take you there. And if it is a crapshoot, then we're gonna be down a crapshoot together. Or if it's great, we'll be great together. Is that kind of what he does? You bring your vision to him?
Yeah, basically, because we have about, for this record and then Unsound as well, we had about a couple weeks for pre-pro, or like maybe a week for pre-pro, and we were just fleshing out ideas with him. I think we had about 13 songs that we went in with, and then going to Randy, we basically went song by song with him, part by part, layer by layer, was guitar, bass, and then the ambience. Excuse me.
The ambience. I think the ambience is like, we should do like hashtag ambience, like 2021 or something. We got to do, because I just imagined just all this ambience that you guys had time to do. You're like, oh, we're not going on tour. We have an extra month. What do we do? Ambience. And it's just like everybody's in the studio. Make a music video. Like, what are you guys working on? Just ambience.
Ambience, yeah. That's all we need. That's all we need to describe it. So what's the album like? Ambience.
Yeah, it's ambient. It's post-melodic hardcore ambient rock.
Yeah, it's heavy on the rock.
Heavy on the rock with some disco elements to it.
Yeah, got that flavor.
Mm-hmm. Got to get the groove. Got to get that backbeat.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, no, Randy for sure has fleshed our vision out to as best as it can be.
Cool.
Because if you looked at he like had to bounce things down within like 5 tracks into one track, like 19 tracks into one track. Mm-hmm. But before he bounced anything together, the Logic session was like, I think like 600 tracks of just ambience. 600, 700 tracks of
that's ridiculous.
Random
that's
noise.
Crazy, Chris. That's crazy.
I know. It's psycho music.
I know.
It's psycho.
I know. Different reverb plugins.
Yeah, and that's Randy. But that's the thing with Randy too, is that he has all those crazy plugins and whatnot, but he can make a couple plugins go very far, like make them sound different enough, and then have the same plugin for them. Yeah. Like I feel we used a lot of this program called Pro R, and it's from this company called FabFilter.
Yes.
And oh my god, there's like a chorus knob on it, and it made parts so much prettier.
Yeah.
It just made that much of a difference. But that was like a heavy plugin that we used on a lot of the ambience. That and like Valhalla Reverb and the Valhalla Shimmer.
Oh, yeah. Valhalla Vintage Verb?
Yeah. Literally every reverb that you could think of in that realm, we've probably used on just him wanting to try something new. But it was cool because we did like half plugins from the computer and then half actual pedals. Like we had a blooper pedal. We had the Big Sky. We had... there was like a couple others that like Holy Grail Overdrive that we had on like to some reverb that just like really spice it up. So we did like a bunch of cool experimental stuff, which I think is pretty different for like that genre that we're playing with, just, you know, fast riffs and chuggy breakdowns. It was cool to have like actual thought out layers of ambience. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. No, I'm excited for everyone to hear it.
Me too. I'm also excited for everyone to hear it. And I'm also thinking of all different kinds of ambient tricks from dance music and synthesizers that are now creeping into metal as well. Like running a stereo delay into a stereo flange, and then running that into distortion, and then running that into reverb.
Yeah, like that is insane. But it works. It works.
Yeah. Yeah, because now your delay is getting flanged and spread around, and then that's getting distorted, so it's getting new harmonics, and then that's getting softened and spaced out by reverb. It's cool. It's cool stuff.
Yeah. You can do so much stuff just with, like, how you said, just with, like, the order of things, how they're going into the patch.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. So any other musicians who are like, man, what order do I put my pedals in? The order in which you want the signal to sound.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about that. Cool. So we chatted a little bit about Barenuckle Pickups. I looked them up. They look crazy. I was on their website. Do you have the ceramic ones or the Alnico 5 ones?
The ceramic ones.
Okay. So like super bitey, super hot, super disgusting.
Super hot. Like, I brought it to my guitar tech, and first thing he said when he gave it back was just like, dude, these pickups are hot. Yeah. So, like, I would change your output levels on a couple of your patches just to make sure it doesn't clip or anything like that.
Yeah.
But even recording with it, I have just like a basic Apollo interface, and it clips even when the pre-gain is all the way down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just that hot of pickups.
That hot of pickups. Yeah. Have you tried lowering them at all?
Like the guitar volume, or like literally the level of them.
The literal height of the pickup to the string. Have you tried adjusting that at all?
I actually haven't. That might be a cure, though,
could be a thing
for my hot pickups. Maybe cool them down a little bit.
Yeah, because I use EMGs, and I chatted with EMG in LA at one point, and I said, how high should the pickups be? Because you guys don't have any documentation on that. And they said, because the preamp puts the output so high, you should actually have them pretty low. Like, we recommend no higher than 3 millimeters away from the strings. And I was like, that's low.
Yeah, that's like a hair off the actual body. It's like, literally like that much.
Yeah.
Insane.
And then it was at NAMM, so I chatted with DiMarzio a little bit later, and they said, well, our pickups are vintage, so that's why you need to put them up so high. But if you were to work with like like a deactivator or an evolution, like something that's way hotter, the X2N, they're like, lower that guy. You're gonna need to lower that guy.
Yeah, no, that's insane. I didn't know that, because that makes sense with the Marzio, because I had Crunch Lab and Liquefier pickups, and those were
Petrucci said
they weren't hot. They weren't hot, but they were like very treble based, so they were almost too crunchy, but they were only high. Like, if they went lower, it would die the tone out like crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So that makes sense now that you're saying like the Marzio are mainly like vintage pickups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a very unique market with like
definitely
the Satrianis and the Vise and like a lot of the solo lead guitar players. So that kind of explains a lot of their market value in terms of how they dial in pickups. Obviously, biggest claim to fame is the EVH guitar. Those are DiMarzio pickups.
Like the white and black ones? Or like the cream and black ones?
Yeah, the ones in the Eddie Van Halen guitar that they did in the early 90s.
Yeah, I had no idea those are DiMarzios.
Yeah, wow. It's a modified tone zone in the bridge and a modified Aaron Norton in the neck.
Crazy. I wonder if that's probably just why he sounds so gained up all the time. I mean, his head too, but those pickups, I'm sure, have a huge part in that.
Yeah, baby. Sweet. So we chatted about Tim Hortons, Starbucks, Guitar Pro, Barenuckle Pickups, Randy LeBoeuf. What else did we chat about? We just chatted about DiMarzio as well. We chatted about pickup height. We chatted about
rock.
Yeah, rock. Rocktober. Autumnal seasons are our favorite seasons. At this point, we could say
we talked about
the tour. At this point, Chris, we could say anything because statistically, people dropped out like 20 minutes ago.
Cool. Then rock. Keep rock. Keep it going.
Rock till you drop.
They don't know what they're missing out on.
They have absolutely no idea. It could be an Albatross.
No. Yeah, I could be leaking the album right now to you.
I know.
And no one will know.
Whoosh, got her. What's going on, sweetums? Shall we say goodbye to Chris so that he can go on to the next interview and we can go play or something? Is that what we should do? Do you have any questions for Chris? Any questions? Nope. All right, well, Chris. Class by Design available everywhere you consume music as of October 22nd via Sharptone Records. And if you are listening in on Apple Podcast, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart.
Yo, was that a G major on the 6th octave?
It sure was.
She knows her pitch.
Yeah.
She knows her pitch right there.
We do family harmony. We're like the Jackson 5.
Yeah. That's rock. That is rock.
Yeah. Sure thing, babes. Now, what else is there to say? Oh, yeah, are you watching on YouTube? You can see how incredibly good looking we are. Or the website today, therockmetalpodcast.ca. There's going to be show notes down below. You can check out sentinelsofficials.com. Click on that link. Also, as well, all available videos will have YouTube links. So Tyrant, To Wither Away. I made a note to input Albatross and Inertia if there's some stuff available there as well. So, Chris, thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today.
Dude, thank you for having me, man. Seriously. I'm glad that this wasn't obsolete.
Ooh.
I could have totally botched that. That could have totally been a wrong context. But
where we're going, there is no context.
We're going to Atlas.
Yeah.
We're going
in this Atlas there is no context.
Ooh, that's deep.
It is deep.
That one cut deep.
I know.
That one cut very deep.
That's a lyric line coming up in the next album.
I'm gonna get my notes out really quick. I should be taking notes on you.